Hi everyone, I'm away today but still found a way to be there with you, and I've made a video for all of the practice test take up. So if everybody would please take out their practice test. I hope that you've had a chance to practice it already and complete it at least once. If you need extra copies and you ask Quinn, she can give you extra copies or a blank copy to try it again. And we talked about the idea of reviewing for your test by practicing this practice test over and over and over again. And so that's what we're going to do now, is give you the answers so that you can check and make sure that you're practicing it right. If you have a question that you are stuck on or that doesn't seem to be working, we'll show you all of the steps so that you know how to do it, and you can check back and go back and try those again. So let's start with part A. With part A, this is like your level 1 or knowledge section. This is a section where in most cases you can write just the answer to get the full marks. There's only 1 mark per question on these types of problems. So in part A, number 1, the first question is asking us to write 7 to the exponent 3. So if you remember back to when we started exponents, 7 to the exponent 3 means 7 times 7 times 7. And if we multiply 7 times 7 times 7, we should get 243. So you can do that on your calculator, or you can multiply 7 times 7 times 7. Or you can use your exponents button. Remember, it looks like that, or on some calculators, it looks like that. For number 2, we have a fraction, and this is a little bit different. You need to remember with fractions that the entire fraction is part of the exponent. So the base for the exponent is 1 over 4. That means 1 over 4 times 1 over 4 times 1 over 4. If we multiply just the numbers on the top, just those guys, 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. And if we multiply just the numbers on the bottom, 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. No decimals on these questions, please. If you don't have a fractions calculator, please borrow one from the plastic container behind my desk. There will be no cell phones allowed on the test on Thursday, so you need to either have your own calculator or borrow one of my calculators for the test on Thursday, please. Let's have a look at question 3. For question 3, we have an exponent already. Here it is, 2 to the exponent 4. And then we're going to put that to another exponent. So remember what we said, brackets mean multiply. So 2 to the 4th to the exponent 2 again just means we're going to multiply the 4 and the 2. We're going to have 2 to the exponent 4 times 2, or 2 to the exponent 8. If you want to go ahead and multiply that through, you'll end up with an answer of 256, okay? So for the next question, question 4, write in exponential form. We've given you a series of the same base. We have the base of 3, and it's being multiplied by itself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. So to write that in the short form exponential form, we keep the base of 3 and we put that to the exponent 8 like that. You don't need to work that out as a number. It's going to be too big for you to work out, okay? And the last question over here, number 5. Number 5 is asking us to simplify, so we are just simply collecting like terms. We have the 9y, and it can go together with the negative 11y. Then we have 5w and plus 4w. And so if we add up all of our like terms now, 9y, take away 11y. That's the same as integers. If we have 9 positives and 11 negatives, the negatives win by 2, so negative 2y. If we have 5 w's plus 4 more w's, we have 9 w's. So we're going to get a binomial answer when we simplify that polynomial, negative 2y plus 9w. Here is the definition section from part A, and just to speed things up on this video, I think we'll take this up tomorrow. Keep in mind that most of the definitions that you're going to be asked on the test will not be the same definitions as these, but you can definitely use this list to help narrow down what other definitions might be on there and make sure you know them. Now, part B of our tests is a little bit different than what you may be used to. In part B, I have it labeled as communication. What I'm looking for is for you to communicate to me that you understand the concepts that I'm asking about. When I say communicate to me, you can use words, an example, a diagram, anything that helps you explain what the concept is asking about. I know that the tendency is to think, well, she understands, she's the teacher. So what I want you to do is think about explaining this to maybe a younger brother or sister or friend who might be in grade 8 math and hasn't learned a little bit of grade 9 math that we have so far, but they would have almost the same background as you. So you're trying to teach them a new concept, and they already have a lot of the tools that you already have in terms of grade 7 and 8 math. And I want you to be able to explain it to them so that they can understand it. So for a trinomial, one thing that you might want to do is write that a trinomial has 3 terms. You might want to explain to that person that you're teaching that degree is the highest exponent or product of exponents on a term in a polynomial. And any other information that you think they would need to know. Maybe you want to define what a term is because they wouldn't have learned that yet. So as an example, you could make up your own polynomial, and a trinomial you've just set up here needs 3 terms. So we might start with 5x to the exponent 5. And then we need to add in 2 more unlike terms. We can't put 5x to the 5th plus 5x to the 5th. That wouldn't be a binomial because we can add those terms together and make just one term. So make sure all of your terms are different. Here's an example of a trinomial that has 3 different terms, and the highest exponent would be 5. Now you might want to get fancy. You might want to say 3x squared y cubed plus 4y minus 15 or something like that, if you remember what we talked about in class and the product of the 2 variables in a single term can be used to find the degree of that term. So in that case, that's also a degree 5 polynomial. The same thing with number 2. I won't go into as much detail so that we can save time on the video, but these 2 terms that you're given are not like terms. They look very similar, but they are not like terms, which means we could not add them together. So again, can you explain that in words or diagrams or examples to someone who just maybe has missed the first couple of weeks of grade 9 math class and doesn't have all that information that you have? Can you explain it to them well enough that they would understand what that is and why those 2 are not like terms? That's what I'm looking for. Each of these questions is worth 2 or 3 marks. On each test, you're always going to have a couple of these communication questions. It gives me a real good chance to see how well you understand things. The last part of the practice test that I want to look at on this video is part C, and we'll start with the first few questions. There'll be another video where we finish off part C, and then another video for part D because they're going to take a little bit more time. So these questions in part C, this is your level 3. This is your real understanding and applying what you have learned in class so far this unit and showing me that you have a real good understanding of it. So every single one of these questions has the rainbow rule. We have the distributive property involved in each one of these, but we also have adding like terms. We also have simplifying polynomials. We also have integers. It's a little bit of everything that we've learned included in all of these questions. So for 1A, let's write this a little bit bigger down here. If I use the rainbow on this, because this is -2 multiplied by everything in the bracket, then the rainbow says -2 times 3x is -6x, and -2 times -7 is positive 14. And that's it. We're done. For B, I want you to do this one step at a time and remember BEDMAS. So here's some multiplying. We're going to do 5m minus 15 using the rainbow for this second term. And here's one of those big red flags where students will always make mistakes on the test. If it says subtract 2m plus 5, remember we talked about this in class and everybody promised that you would not forget that a negative in front of the bracket means minus 2m and minus 5, changing the sign of everything in that bracket. Okay. Now when we add up like terms, just ignore this, I can't seem to get rid of it. 4m plus 5m minus 2m are all like terms. So we're going to put those guys together. And for the number part, we've got minus 15 and minus 5. Let's put those together. And an equals on the left side. 4m plus 5m minus 2m is 4 plus 5 is 9, minus 2 is 7m. Minus 15 and minus 5, we have 15 negative guys. Along come 5 more negative guys. We have 20 negative guys. So all that becomes a binomial answer at the end. For the last question on this video, we're going to do part C. And part C is a rainbow. It's multiplying 2 into the trinomial x squared minus 5x plus 3. So for this question, we have 2 times x squared, which is 2x squared. We have 2 times minus 5x, which is minus 10x. We have 2 times 3, which is 6. That's it. We're done. That one looked harder than it was. So take a few minutes, please. Make sure you have all of the answers written down and that you've got it all recorded on your practice test. When you are finished with this video and you have all of your corrections made to the practice test, please ask the teacher to start video number 2.